Alright, time to find a good spot where I can read. They seem to have sealed this area off. And besides, there aren't any Halloween decorations, so that won't work. Nope, not enough Halloween decorations. Too bright. Well, they haven't really done a whole lot with this place, huh? Too little Halloween decorations. Nope, but might use that for another episode. Nope. And there's also a guy in here. Not desolate enough. God damn it, even here? I need someplace more desolate. But what could be too desolate? I mean perfectly desolate. That's too desolate even for me. My favorite hidey holes off. That's just bullshit. God damn it, not desolate enough. Fucking ghosts. Not enough Halloweeny. God damn it, man. I've searched and searched, but I just cannot find a goddamn Halloween spot. This could work. Hello there, my creepy crawling friends, and welcome to my creepy creaking corner of the world. In today's episode, I have cooked up something special for you all. You see, I am a bit of a writer, amateur, of course. And I thought, what better way to show off my amateur skills than and also to celebrate Halloween than with a fancy little episode where I read to you guys. Not just that, but I read stories that I have myself made. And this isn't just any ordinary reading session. We will be having free stories. The gimmick of these little games will shift depending on each episode. As of today's episodes, I have 3 stories. One that is an excerpt from the novel that I'm making, another is an AI generated, and the last one is just a creepy one that I've made for myself. Well, I say creepy, but it might not be that creepy. Your guys' deal is to just simply listen and enjoy, but also try and guess which of the 3 stories is what. Which one is an AI generated, which one is just a self-made one that I have, and which one is an excerpt from my novel. That is your guys' work, or at least your challenge. And as for the prize for whoever is able to guess this, you will have to write down into the comments below your guess. And whoever is the most right or is right, I will not only like your comment, but I will also try and pin it to make it the highlight of this video in the comment section down below. Not only that, but I will even give your YouTube name a shout out in the next upcoming YouTube video that I make. Sounds like a deal? I think it does. Now, shall we proceed? The first story coming up is called Young Jonathan, now all alone sitting in his room, looking out the window. It's been a year since Fiora disappeared on that train in the woods. The thunder and rain rolled outside his window, a deep emptiness dwelling inside him, growing, feeding on his sadness. His face, now cold and empty, looked towards the forest behind his backyard. His mother is trying her best to remain the same strong, independent woman she always was. Yet he could clearly see that at any moment she would break. She tutored him less now. He understood why. She needed time to heal. As for his father, well, what can be said of him? He spends most of his waking moments and sleeping at the pub instead of at home, here at the mansion. His drinking has gotten a little more intense after Fiora disappeared, but he doesn't really care. He just uses her as an excuse to drink more. Mother does not try to stop him. She does not have the same willpower anymore. Tears started swelling inside him now. Even now that Fiora is gone, Father still won't acknowledge his existence. Jonathan wondered sometimes if the unbreachable wall that stands between him and his father is due to him not actually being his son. Maybe that's the case. He jumped down from the window seat and walked over to his cupboard, took some outside clothes on, not tailored for the rain and mud. Then he walked down his home's many hallways. His home? To him it did not feel like a home anymore. He walked down the hallway stairs, still with that emotionless face that once used to smile. Then he walked outside to the backyard and into the woods, waiting for the train to take him to where Fiora went. Death. What is death? It would come in several forms, none of them pretty. First, the person that died, even if it were their own flesh, could not pass on their knowledge to others. Knowledge was power. Knowledge was life. Even knowledge that would allow the government to find a cure for disease. That is the death. What is death? Black plague? Second, a corpse can be put into the earth and made into fertilizer. If this was the case, it would be a better fertilizer than the one produced in death. Fertilizer made from the life. The fertilizer would also have the same strength and longevity as the corpse. A fertilizer from another person, a living person. Death is not something that is easily removed from life's cycle. Death is life itself, is it not? Healing could not be carried out without the dead person's knowledge. How could this person be healed? There are no medical records for the deceased, not even for their great-great-grandmothers. The dead are buried in unmarked graves. They are not given a casket or a proper burial. It is a grave for a dead body. Third, we can bury the body ourselves. This is where the medical community comes in. We can send the cremated body to a crematorium and fuck it real hard. And I'm not talking about the religious way. I'm talking about the way doctors and medical institutions have always done it. You can see it in every hospital in this country. There is no scientific reason to do it, except for what we believe. For people still have an open wound or open clit, and we just fuck it real nice and tight. The fourth option is to have a coffin made. Once a body is buried, there is always a possibility that it could be used as a human being in another way. Perhaps to be the victim of another crime. Our fear of this is very real in a sense. The fear of fucking the dead. The last question I want to address is why do we feel the need to take the responsibility of the corpses? As if they are criminals. Why do some of us feel like we need the bodies to heal? The answer is simple. Some of you are reading this. Others are fucking it for real, and some are just fucking with you. Trying to show how stupid you all are. Do you have any idea how much it costs to bury a baby? I got a couple of bucks from a guy, and he asked me if I had any complaints about my daughter, and he told me to fuck her. I fucking had some problems, but it was a minor problem. She did all the work of it, and I was grateful for it, because she had to work her ass off to do it. She was working in a gas station, picking up some money, putting it into a bank account, and that's that. That was it for her. She didn't do anything else, so why is this important? Is it? It's important because when you do something like that, you don't just sit back and be proud. You do not congratulate yourself for doing something you love to fucking do. Or maybe you do. Anyway, that's the end. The last thing I remember was a flash of light coming towards me and the feeling of weightlessness. I don't know what happened, but when I awoke, it was not the hard concrete ground that greeted me. No, it was the cold, smooth glass I found myself laying on instead. And through the glass I saw clouds, as far as the eyes could see. I got scared at the sight and feared that the glass would break from my weight, but no matter where I turned or looked, all I saw was the see-through glass replacing the ground beneath me. It would be a lie if I said I didn't constantly feel anxious whenever I looked down to see infinite skies below. How far would I fall? What lies beneath the sea of clouds? I was not a believer, but I still found myself silently praying that these questions would go unanswered. As I turned away from the scenic floor to access my surroundings, I was astonished by the beauties before me and above me. I was in a giant hallway. As I looked what was in front of me and what was behind me, all I could see was the infinite sprawling hallway, stretching on forever, and maybe even beyond what my mind could perceive as forever. It was not a narrow hall at the very least. I had 10 meters of room from one side to the other, so it felt spacious. The walls themselves was decorated with golden pillars that used streaks of copper to form a spiral around the pillars themselves. Words were written on the copper lines, although their meaning was incomprehensible to my limited vocabulary. I had never seen this kind of language before. In between the pillars were doors of various shapes and designs. Some were made of stone, and some were made of flesh and eyes. But one thing that they all have in common: there was a nameplate above each door, all in the same strange language that I could not understand. The most breathtaking of all was the ceiling. It was split in two, and down the open middle I witnessed more blue sky stretching on forever, and to the left and right the ceiling was made from what looked like blue marble, with holes randomly strewn across the ceiling. But I did not see the blue sky through these holes. Instead, I saw everything. There were beings of different shapes and sizes in the holes. I bore witness to their lives as they went about their day. Some were sleeping, others worked. Where there was night for one, there was day for another. I was witnessing all of creation through these holes. All of it must be a multiversal perspective. I was not just witnessing the lives of beings belonging to a singular universe. If that was the truth, then why would these holes stretch on forever? How could there be so many holes in just a few meters of space in this otherwise infinitely stretching halls? How can the holes show me a family eating breakfast together in one, and then in the meantime there's a hole that shows me the exact same family, in the exact same house, eating the exact same breakfast, except for one difference. In this hole, the family eats with their strange-looking utensils in the opposite hands, all of them doing this one thing that makes them indifferent to the family in the previous. My body froze as I heard the voice that came booming from the other end of the hall. It was a deep and authoritative-sounding voice, although the words were as indecipherable as the text atop the doors and pillars. Within a split second, I was blinded by light, and as I opened them again, a tall and hooded figure stood before me. Its clothing seemed to be made of the purest dark. The fabric moved as if it was alive, but behind the mass of darkness, I could see gentle streams of light, like the ones I loved to witness at sundown when I was a child. The figure walked closer and closer, right until it stared down at me. Its voice was so strong, I could feel my body shake internally. It almost made me throw up. I could feel every word spoken by it into my mind. The words formed into shapes in my head, but my mind could not comprehend its meaning. There we go. Is this language more suitable for you? The pain in my mind ceased to be, as the being talked to me in my own language. Although I could still feel the symbols and shapes in my mind, Ah, sorry about that. I keep forgetting that you little ones can't handle my language. It's a good thing I stopped. A little more and your mind might have been turned to mush. Who are you? And where am I? I would love to tell you my name, child, but I'm afraid that saying it to you in its natural language would completely destroy your sanity. And you need that for when you cross over. Can't have another Ted Bundy, or Jeffrey Dahmer, or that Gacy guy. So instead you can call me the Everywhere King, or Tech for short. I took one more look around my surroundings, and found that all the incomprehensible text from before was now discernible for me. The pillars read, "Welcome to the halls of everywhere," and above one of the doors it read, "Earth 33. You said, cross over. What does that mean exactly? Well, you see, Legridus, you died. I what? How? You were out for a night ride on your bike when suddenly you got ran over by a drunk driver, who immediately fled the scene. There was the bright light and the feeling of flight you felt before entering my domain. I'm dead? Don't be so glum, Legridus. It was only your first death, and you have many more to go. Wait, how do you know my name? And what do you mean, first death? It's quite the explanation, but I will try and shorten it for you. You're in the halls of everywhere. Well, everywhere in the span of three-dimensional beings, that is. Still infinite, but limited towards only dimensional ranks you belong to. The halls of everywhere serve as the gateway for you mortal beings to travel anywhere within the infinite span of your dimensional existence. You come here when you die, then you choose where you would like to go, and then you are reborn, again into that new world, with no memory of the past. Well, at least until you return here again. This cycle continues until the 10th cycle, where your mind has accumulated enough knowledge to be reborn into your final shape. And as for your name, I am all omniscient when it comes to existence. My final shape? What happens then, when I have achieved this final shape? That is as far as my omniscience goes. What happens after you have ascended, even I am not certain. Maybe true death? Or maybe you become a god? I wouldn't know. As I said, my knowledge is limited to the boundaries of existence and the 10 cycles of life. What happens beyond that is truly beyond my knowledge. So what now? Now is when you choose which path, Legridus. We can go anywhere you want. Do you wish to be reborn in the wacky universe where all planets are made of candy? I know you like ice cream. Or we can go for something that is similar to your homeworld. Just say the word, and I'll take you everywhere you want to go. I sat and pondered for a minute. I have the power to go anywhere. Where would I like to go? Someplace completely different? Or someplace similar? I stared into the ceiling above and looked into the holes. It showed me the world of Earth 33. I saw the strange being with their simple physiology. I saw them make works of art, write beauty down on paper. I saw them turning dreams into reality. These strange creatures interested me. The holes showed me their flaws, but in the end, it was part of their chaotic beauty. I know where I want to go for the next cycle of my life. Where to? The red door behind me. Earth 33. Oh, fancy choice. Humanity has its flaws, but they are also great creators because of it. Their creativity is almost as infinite as this hall, and it's not a bad choice either. Earth 33 is a bit more artistic than the rest. You have good taste, Legridus. Before you go, I must ask, are you certain about this choice? Once you go there, there is no going back. Oh, And if you get cold feet, I should probably mention that returning to your original world is not an option. Why, you might ask? Because your mind and soul need knowledge to be able to finish its cycle. Going back to places already visited does very little for the mind. You might do something different than a previous life, but it is not enough for the mind to grow. Therefore it is forbidden and made completely impossible to do. But enough of that. Are you prepared for what lies beyond? I am. Then all you have to do is open that door and walk into the light. Leonard Gray, Diary Note, A Strange Dream, date 9/20/2022. I've just had the strangest dream ever. I dreamed that I was another being, not of my world, maybe not even of the same universe. I dreamed that my other self had died, and was now given the option to go anywhere in his fantasies desired. I dreamed that the other me met a being of unfathomable power, made of light and dark, and spoke in a language that I for the life of me cannot understand or comprehend. I think this may make for a good story. I will need to change it a bit, as the other me talked of things I did not understand, things too alien for even my imagination. I don't know what a Belgrubladar is and why it attacked, but I think I'll just change it into a car accident, drunk drivers and all that. As thankful as I am for the inspiration that this dream has caused, I can't help but shake the feeling that I've seen those strange symbols before. Like a permanent scar etched into my mind. I feel the symbols writhe, as if it's not content remaining in one shape, a word in constant shape-shifting. I don't know if I can write that into the story. Might just use ASCII letters instead. I'll call this story In the Halls of Everywhere. Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Did you like the episode? Or was I too cringy? Was my voice too bad for the reading? Sorry, English is not my first language. I'm pretty bad at it. Well, semi-bad at it after what I've heard on the recording. I tried my best. This is my first time after all. I'm not used to reading stories up for people. But so far, what do you think of the premise? 3 stories and 3 categories that you guys have to guess which of the stories belong to. If you don't remember, this episode's categories are 1 AI generated, 1 is an excerpt from my novel, and another is a side story that I've made. If you can guess all of the 3 categories that the 3 stories belong to, you'll get a special shout out in the comment. No, you will get a pinned comment below and also liked, and you will get a shout out in the next video. And if nothing else, I hope you guys all enjoyed. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And while we are at it, why don't we cue that actual intro now? Bye bye!